Welcome to episode 3, part 2 of Project Eunoia. Before you proceed, please know that this episode we might cover topics such as anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. So please make sure that you're in the right frame of mind before listening. Otherwise, please enjoy the podcast. In part 1 of episode 3, yun yung parang takeaway ko that community is really important. Being open, having a safe space for you to share what you feel. Not kahit minsan hindi na yung para tulungan ka or sometimes yung mag-share ka lang, like ganito, magkaroon lang ng conversation, ma-share mo lang yung nararamdaman mo, gumagaan na, and then they will they will pray for you, diba? Parang ang laki nung natutulong sa puso mo na, shucks, diba? I feel empowered, I feel like I can do this, and I feel hopeful and optimistic about what's gonna happen in the future. And this is the continuation of our discussion. So yun yung takeaway ko from the things that you share. And I resonate with that. Kasi in my life, I've also ghosted people. Even family. Like, I've literally blocked them on social media. That was before the pandemic when I was younger and less temperate. So, nagawa ko na rin yan. Nang-ghost na rin ako. Nang-block ako ng pamilya. Hindi ako nakikipag-usap. Hindi ako nag-answer ng call. So, that also happened. And I grew up an introvert and I grew up na I struggled with depression. So it was a thing for me. And there were times there were times that I actually considered ending my own life. So those became real. Like literal na, not just thoughts, but literal na, like took a knife and, it was there. So parang, of course, I don't share it to everyone. I share with a select group of people that I really trust. Pero, kumbaga, it's not something, at this moment in time, given na nasa pandemic tayo, it's not something that you should conceal. Yung struggle mo, it's not something that you should conceal. Find people that you can trust. You can share your struggle with them. Ask help. Parang sa akin ganun eh. Siguro yun yung wala din ako when I was growing up. When I was younger, I didn't have a way. I didn't know how to ask for help. And alam mo naman sa Pilipinas, actually, the last 5 years lang naman nagkaroon ng advocacy for mental health na, alam mo yun, yung kalat talaga na meron silang mga mental health awareness day, tapos may mga hotline. Pero when I was growing up, when I was in my teens, wala naman masyadong ganyan eh. Tapos wala pang social media nung time na yun, di ba? Friendster. Nung nasa college ako, Friendster. Di ba? After ko gumraduate, saka lang nagkaroon ng Facebook. Tapos wala pang mga ganun, wala pang mga ganyan-ganyan na mga group sa Facebook, mental health support, ganyan. Wala namang ganyan dati. And andun yung stigma. And then, you talk to somebody that a member of the family, and you try to tell them what you're feeling, what you're going through. And most of the time, you don't really understand. Hindi mo rin masabi, ano bang mali? Ano bang nararamdaman mo? Basta ganito lang yung nararamdaman ko. Hindi ko alam bakit. And then they would just tell me that, you just have to pray. Kulang ka lang sa prayer, kulang ka lang sa ganun. So parang, I believe in the value of prayer. I firmly believe in the importance of that in your life. But these are physiological things. When you're going through depression, for example, it's not something that happens to you at this level, like emotional and mental level. There's something physical that's happening as well. So, parang for the kids out there, for the younger people, the yuppies out there who are listening, who may be listening, you are very lucky. To be honest, you're very lucky na yung stigma, meron pa ring stigma around mental health. Pero yung stigma na yon, hindi na ganun ka strong as when I was younger. Diba? And a lot of people nowadays are very open, are very willing to reach out to help. So, ang dami ng platforms, di ba? Meron sa Twitter, meron sa Facebook, meron mga NGOs, di ba? May mga hotline sila where you can talk to a counselor, you can talk to professionals. They're very accessible nowadays. Walang makaka-stop sa'yo to seek help. Even if it's something na you just feel right now. Sabihin na natin, hindi ka depression, pero right now you're going through something and you need support and you need help. There are platforms out there that you can use. So parang sobrang hindi na siya mahirap. Hindi na mahirap humingi ng tulong. Hindi na mahirap na humanap ng community na tutulong sa'yo at mag-aalaga sa mental health mo. Kasi we have to recognize, I don't know if Z agrees, mahirap din kasing magturo ng self-awareness and self-regulation sa mga tao. Sa totoo lang.
Yes,
diba?
Yes, mahirap.
Napakahirap. Kasi before you go towards self-regulation, and that's why I love yung work ni Daniel Goleman. He talks about emotional quotient a lot. And yun yung dalawa sa mga yung lagi nilang sinasabi or lagi nilang pinag-uusapan. Self-awareness and self-regulation. You can't move from, you can't really develop self-regulation if you don't have self-awareness. And a lot of the people nowadays, yun yung kulang sa kanila eh. Hindi nila ganun, they don't spend time for introspection, diba? They don't spend time to understand ano ba yung hindi ko gusto ko, ano ba yung naka-trigger sa akin ng mga negative emotions, negative feelings. They don't know these things. And so how can you move from to being to regulate yourself, your emotions, if in the first place you don't know yourself? And then parang alam mo yung saying na sinasabi nila, all feelings are valid. Diba? Don't invalidate your yung feelings, ganyan. Kasi
your feelings are valid, but you're also responsible for your actions.
Diba? Yung ganong sentiment na your feelings are valid, wag mo pakinggan yung mga yan kasi valid naman yung feelings mo, okay lang yan. So parang I'm not saying na hindi valid ang feelings. Lahat ng feelings valid, diba? Sabi mo nga, Vina, lahat naman valid yung feelings. Pero what's so wrong with our society? Ito observation ko lang na nakikita ko. Ang hirap sa society natin ngayon, parang ini-encourage pa yung mga tao to spread negative sentiments. Parang somebody posts on social media like, I'm so angry about this, blah blah blah. Like I think there was a time na nag-viral yung estudyante na parang parang minomok yung teacher niya. I think there was I don't know if it was on TikTok or YouTube, na parang minomok niya yung teacher niya, tapos gumawa sila ng parang video talking about online class and teachers. And a lot of people are like, validating that and saying, yeah, tama yan, sige, gawin niyo yan. Diba? Without considering na that may impact the feelings or the reputation of teachers, diba? Of educators. Hindi lang yung specific na educator na pinapatungkulan niya, but even all educators. They also have mental health. Their feelings are also valid. Diba? Yung ganon. So parang that goes parang full circle, going back to what C was saying earlier na you can't just, when you talk about mental health, you don't just think about yourself. No. Yung mental health mo, basta ma-express mo lang yung negative na nararamdaman mo. Kasi your mental health matters. Your feelings are valid. Express mo lang sa labas, okay na yon. Okay yung mental health mo. Pero what about the mental health of the people who will see that? Diba? Yung message na nai-publish mo sa labas. How about their mental health? Diba? Ang daming information out there in the world. Ang daming experiences sa labas ng sometimes I think people need kailangan nila yung community to help them filter, 'di ba? What do you need to what do you need to digest as a person, as an individual, para matulungan mo yung sarili mo, para ma-strengthen mo yung mental health mo. Kasi hindi lahat ng makikita mo sa labas makakatulong 'yan, 'di ba? Hindi lahat 'yan applicable sa iyo. So sometimes that's where community helps. Having a group of people that you trust can curate that information, and then later on also help you process how you're feeling and get you the help that you need, connect you with the right platform, the right professionals. So, yun. Ang dami ko sinabi, pero parang yun lang, ang dami ko lang realization kasi community really helps. So, yung sinabi nyo about having friends, having YPA, nakakaano talaga siya, nakakatulong siya. And we wanna hear from Z. So ikaw naman Z, baka meron kang mga tips naman. Like sa amin, halimbawa, parang yung sinabi ni Cha, she's also parang bumabalik-balik yung, di ba, yung ganun niya na feeling. Ano naman kaya yung pwedeng gawin? And is that, I mean, is that okay? Is that okay that you go through these cycles na, or ang mental health issue ba is kapag nalampasan mo after nun is parang fairy tale ending na, yay, happily ever after. Ano bang realidad?
Okay, so simulan ko lang, no? Personally for me, kasi medyo different yung, siguro kasi, for me, I've been very careful on how to deal with a lot of things. Kaya siguro, hindi ganun kalaki yung impact nung nakulong lang ako sa bahay. Kasi nagkukulong talaga ako sa bahay. Pero I would say that I'm a bit lucky because I was able to, generally condition myself from the beginning. Kasi yun nga, medyo mas introverted talaga ako as a person. And ako kasi yung tinatawagan. So, alam niyo na, ako yung laging hotline. So, bukas ang aking linya palagi. So, lagi akong may kausap. So, parang hindi siya, parang kumbaga, parang lagi kang kailangan kasi. So, yun yung maging aspect nung sa akin. So, kaya, parang, mas nandun ako sa side na I had to listen more, which is, I think, I love the most. When I receive a call from people, I listen the most, and I usually rant din naman. Actually, may story nga to yung Twitter account ko was created back in 5 years ago to be a rant Twitter account. Sabi ko kaya ganun yung Twitter handle nun. Kaya naging C is desperate because I was so desperate to rant. Oo. But it turned out that I realized na hindi ko naman siya ginagamit. And then I was also very careful of putting my words out there kasi. So yun, I was very, very careful of the words that I put out there kasi nga, I've seen how it unfolds. So, oo, totoo yung sinabi mo na mahirap talagang ituro ang self-regulation, ang pagiging self-aware. So, pero kailangan siya. Kailangan talaga. If you would notice how much of an impact your words are to other people. Pag marami ka nang nasasaktan or kapag nakita mo na malaki pala siya, yung mga bagay na sinabi mo pwede palang maka impact sa ibang tao. Wala ka nang ibang ginawa, no? Pero may impact ka pa din. May mga ganun kasing tipo ng tao na very strong yung personality nila kahit wala naman silang ginagawa pero meron pa rin silang
dot lang yung ilagay.
Meron pa rin silang influence sa'yo for some reason. May mga ganun. So parang I realized that that's one of the reason why I become a teacher a teacher. Kasi I wanted to be the person I never had. Yun yung palaging sinasabi. So I wanted to be that person I never had. Kasi I never had, an ate to actually listen to me. Just listen to me, without the judgment. And I think that's basically the reason why I said to Chana, I'm okay with doing this now. Kasi I think it just gives me more of, a platform to help. Oo. Pero yun nga, I would say that kapag nakaka-experience kasi tayo ng emotion, alam mo, emotional roller coaster naman ng araw-araw na buhay natin. So it's normal that you feel up and you feel down. It's not necessarily abnormal, no? Normal yun kasi it's a usual process. Kasi mas mahirap pag wala kang nararamdaman. So,
yes.
Oo, mas mahirap yun. Merong tinatawag na sakit na alexithymia. So yun yung inability to describe your emotion by of yourself and also by others. So there is a psychological disorder like that. So that's also a dysfunction of emotional awareness and social attachment. Interpersonal relationship with other people. So kaya ako sinasabi sa inyo na normal maka-experience ng roller coaster emotions. Normal na actually mas better nga na aware kayo na you feel up and down kasi it means that you're emotionally aware of what you're going through, and that's why you'll be able to correct it and you'll be able to find ways to help yourself. Doon nagsisimula yung self-awareness. Doon nagsisimula yun. And that's a good sign that you are trying to move forward from a daily basis. So, I think, yun yung masasabi ko na magandang sign. Kasi, tulad nga ng sinabi mo kanina, all emotions are valid. However, lagi ko sinasabi na, sa lahat nito, even though dun sa mga nakakausap ko na all emotions are valid, walang nag-i-invalidate. However, you have to be careful of whatever you put out there. Because you'll be responsible to other people's feelings as well. Kasi, sabi ko nga, di ba kanina, may mga tao na dot na lang yung ilalagay, nakaka-apekto pa sila sa ibang tao, di ba? So yun, pwede kasing ganun yung impact mo, hindi mo nga alam. So kailangan you have to be very aware of it. And I think also I have to say na, yung mga common thing na siguro masasabi ko na experience nyo, yung parang feeling nyo, ang down nyo, tapos feeling nyo naiinis kayo. I would say that during pandemic, even not just in pandemic pagka masyado kang, parang palagi kang nasa bahay, the common thing you would experience is cabin fever syndrome. If you're familiar with the cabin fever syndrome, yun yung bored ka, irritable ka, tapos di mo alam bakit ka irritable, ganyan. Tapos parang di mo alam kung naiinis ka, pero wala kang mahanap na reason. Parang, tapos gusto mo lumabas ng bahay nyo, hindi ka makalabas. Tapos ibabaling mo na lang yung sa inis. So usually yun yung common na na-experience ng mga tao during pandemic talaga. It's the cabin fever syndrome. So kaya ko sinasabi dun sa iba na, kung maswerte ka, pinanganak kang maswerte at yung bahay nyo naman merong bakuran, labas ka lang doon. Oo, labas ka bakuran. Ikutin mo yung bakuran nyo, tingin-tingin ka sa langit. Legit to. Or kung may balcony kayo kung sa condo ka man or sa city living ka, labas ka lang doon sa balcony mo, nagstay ka doon ng mga 30 to 1 hour. Get enough sunshine, ganyan. Para man lang hindi ka makaka-feel ng parang claustrophobic feeling. Kasi parang sa pandemic ngayon, lahat ng tao nasa loob lang ng bahay. So, very claustrophobic sa kanila yung feeling. So, ako medyo swerte siguro kasi yung asawa ko, yung bahay nila, may bakuran. So, nakakalabas ako ng bakuran. So, kaya siguro hindi ko masyadong na-feel na nakulong ako sa bahay. So, nakakalabas ako ng bakuran, nakakatingin-tingin ako ng mga langit, ng mga puno, ganyan. So, maliit lang naman. May maliit lang. Alam mo, pag sa probinsya kasi ako nakatira. So, alam mo, sa mga probinsya, yung mga maliit na bakuran, yung mga saka nagsisiga, yung mga ganon. So, yun, medyo nakakalabas. Yung mga, pag nakikita mo sa mga pelikula, yung mga nagwawalis-walis na. Mga ganon naman kami kahit konti. So, nakakalabas ako sa ganon. So, I think, naman, common talaga yung cabin fever doon sa mga taong nakatira sa city, yung mga walang nalalabasan talaga. Yung kasi takot na silang lumabas Alam mo, meron na silang fear of going out and they have already. By the way guys, dinawin lang natin, anxiety, anxious kayo, no? So anxiety is actually a fear of the unknown. Kaya kayo anxious kasi hindi nyo alam kung ano yung mangyayari, di ba? So, yun nga, people are already anxious of going out there because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if they're gonna get COVID or they just don't know actually what's going on out there. Kung makukulong ba sila dahil lumabas sila. Marami, di ba? So, I would say na yun yung common na na-experience. So, Doc Pearl, if you think tama ako or may mali sa sinabi ko, please don't hesitate to correct me. So, ayun, oo. So, ayun. I think to just tell, tips para nagbigay naman ako ng tips para doon sa mga nakakalabas, may mga pwedeng labasan. Yung mga wala namang pwedeng labasan, I'd say that try to because I think ngayon, inaalaw naman na lumabas yung mga tao, no? So, try to go out naman siguro kahit may bintana man yung ano mo. Kung masyado talagang mataas, you go out, kahit sa lobby lang, just avoid, siguro muna mga maraming tao. Pero you try to go out kahit mga pa 30 minutes lang. Kasi it helps. It helps really. Even if you're an extrovert or introvert, it helps para hindi mo masyadong ma-feel na nakukulong ka. Kasi yun yung feeling kaya madami talagang nag-down yung immune system, nag-down din yung yung mental well-being nila kasi nga down sila so wala silang ibang way to go out.
Yung makagalaw-galaw.
Oo, galaw-galaw tayo.
Galaw-galaw din.
Oo, galaw-galaw. Actually, very important ang physical exercise to mental health. Yan.
Yeah.
Very important yan, guys.
Ayan. Tanong natin si Doc Pearl yan. Kasi, di ba, may mababasa kang mga articles na, di ba, when you exercise, that creates, tama ba, endorphins ba yun?
Yes.
It releases endorphins that makes you happy, di ba?
Yeah, serotonin and dopamine, Doc, no?
Yun.
And oxytocin, ayan. Si Doc Pearl.
Ano pa ba, like physically naman, anong mga pwede nating gawin para, di ba, maprotektahan natin yung well-being natin, yung ating mental health?
Physical exercise really helps, ate. Kasi during the quarantine last year, I did exercise para kahit paano man lang, pag natapos yung quarantine, at least naman, di ba, magka-abs tayo. But aside from the abs, really, it gives off hormones, happy hormones. So to quote lang, L from Legally Blonde, exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. So ayun. It helps in giving off that happy vibe. Hindi lang health, hindi lang yung physical aspect lang ang may improve niya. It also improves your mood. So at least, 'di ba, nag-target siya ng emotional side, nag-target din siya ng physical side. So for exercise, nag-YouTube lang ako. Ang dami kong nakikita sa YouTube na very, very effective exercises. So, for me, naghanamili ako yung para mag-grow naman yung butt. Ganon.
Yeah. Same.
And then,
nag-exercise din to si Vina.
Butt exercises, butt and abs.
Butt exercises ka din. Very effective si Hanamili, I swear.
Si Hanamili na naka sa akin, naka-notify, tapos dinedate mo ko na. may upload siya lagi eh. Sinerge ko kasi si Dr.
Yung nag-subscribe ka pero ini-ignore mo lang.
Sabi ko, ang dami namang upload nito ni Hanamili. Joke.
Lagi ka naman nag-TikTok. Nagda-dance ka sa TikTok, diba?
In fairness the dance that you can do in TikTok, it also serves as an exercise. So, kahit naman 5 minutes lang, it's still cardio.
Yes.
Sweating is still sweating. So, just go about your usual business. Actually, sometimes, kahit nagluluto, nag-squat si Mi para at least man lang mag-circulate.
Grabe naman.
Grabe naman yun.
Even in those
level ng multitasking yan
at least 'di ba nagsasaing ka na, naka-exercise ka pa.
Kaya pala lagi siguro yan ang key kasi tignan mo laging happy si
Hyper.
Hyper.
Masubukan
energetic. Ito si Vina din, nakikita ko meron siyang nagpo-post ka 'di ba ng mga exercise, parang fitness journey mo.
Yes, actually nag-try ako ng 21-day workout challenge for myself kasi parang yun nga, parang sobrang nawalan kasi ng schedule yung buhay ko. So what
routine,
aside routine, I was looking for the word routine. Pero yun, parang nawalan ako ng routine nung 2020. So bukod sa dopamine and yung mga hormones na yan, plus the physical benefits of exercising, what it actually helped me with is yung pagkakaroon ko ng routine. Like, kailangan talaga makasama yung exercise sa buong araw ko. Parang, kailangan by this time, nakapag-exercise na ako. And then parang motivate ako to do more kasi I started the day na active na ako eh. So parang mas nagiging productive ka all throughout the day kasi parang, okay, what do I do with this energy? What do I do with this energy? So parang yun,
Napupush ka.
yeah, mood lifter ang exercise, yes. So parang it motivates me to do more kasi nakaipon ka na ng energy through exercise. So yun po. And it also helped me kasi parang yung 21-day workout challenge na ginawa ko, ano siya, hindi ko naman talaga siya ginawa within 21 days. Like meron akong mga araw na na-miss. And parang dun ko na-exercise yung self-compassion na parang, no, it's okay. There are days talaga na you're not in the mood. There are days talaga na you will not feel like doing anything and it's okay. You can try again tomorrow. Parang ganun. So, yun yung naging positive change sa akin nung nagawa kong 21-day workout challenge.
Ang ganda nung point na yon na yung compassion. Parang it's not really, hindi lang siya basta self-love pero it's really acknowledging and telling to yourself na, you know what, it's okay. It's okay if you just, stay in your bed for the whole morning. Huwag ka munang bumangon if you're feeling off, diba? It's fine, as long as you're not like this every day, diba? if you tell this to yourself every day, probably talk to Z or somebody, right? So, pero, if it's just like one of those days, that's fine. Diba? Wala kasi akong masyadong practical tips, hindi ako nag-exercise. Pero, sige po, Doc Pearl, Vina, gagawin na natin na nag-exercise na po ako. Hindi ako nag-exercise, kumakain lang talaga ako. Pero guys, wag niyo akong tularan. Makinig kayo kay Ate Vina at kay Doc Pearl at kay Ate Z. Mag-exercise kayo. Kung TikTok is your thing, follow Ate Cha. Yan. Sabayan niyo na rin siya para mag-exercise kayo, ganyan. Or mag-TikTok na rin kayo, diba? Ang tawag doon? Stitch niyo siya or i-do it niyo siya. Ganon, i-do it niyo siya. Diba? Follow nyo siya and then mag-TikTok kayo. So, pero sa akin, it's really more, yun, I just, parang sinusugan ko lang yung sinabi ni Vina na you have to be compassionate to yourself. And you have to learn how to forgive yourself. So, iba yung parang justify mo na yung sarili mo na parang, ay, you're the best person. Yung narcissism na yon, diba? Hindi, iba yon. It's really like when you make a mistake, at some point you have to learn how to forgive yourself and tell yourself it's okay. Or when you're feeling off, acknowledge that negative feeling and say that, okay, I have to disconnect from social media. All I want to do is just lie down and sit still and maybe rest my soul. We need that, diba? We need that. So parang yun lang, i-acknowledge mo lang na those things happen. And that's okay. Hindi ka kailangan mag-conform dun sa na dapat active ka, ganyan. Like ako, looking at Pearl, sabi ko, sana may ganyan din akong energy. No? Everyday, ganyan din ang energy ko. Pero I built a different way. May time, nag-uusap nga kami kanina, kasi early bird siya. Night owl ako. So pag umaga, hindi talaga ako makakausap. So even those things, acknowledging those things that in the mornings, I'm terrible. I'm in a terrible mood. I know na pag hindi ako pwedeng makipag-usap ng matino, wala kang makukuha sa akin kapag umaga. So I generally manage all the things that happen in my life towards the end of the day. So afternoon, paggabi, ganyan. Minsan, I do most of my analysis work, a lot of like the creative work towards the gabing-gabi or madaling araw. So even those things, acknowledging na hindi mo kayang sabayin ng lahat ng tao sa pace nila. Yung buhay na paano sila gumagalaw. Most likely, I'm not gonna be that kind of person who would start their day with an exercise. Kasi hindi ko kayang gumising na 7, gano'n. Malamang hindi. Kasi
You can do it at night daw po, ate.
diba? So most likely it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be that person who would do the exercise at night. And that's fine. That's okay. So parang wag mo ding i-compare yung how you do your stuff, your routine, with how other people do it. Kasi baka naman nakita mo lang sa YouTube na ito dapat yung gawin para maging healthy ka. Eh yun na lang din ang kukuhanin mo at ipapattern mo ang buhay mo doon. Kasi malalaman mo naman yun kung hindi yun mag-work sa'yo. Diba? And that's okay. That's fine. Hindi mo kailangan mag-conform doon. Find your own thing. So you can like pick up stuff from other, from different sources and then put them all together and do your own thing. I think that thing that works for you. Kay Z naman, so yun, parang practical tips lang kung ano ba, how do you take care of your mental health, physical man yan, or anumang practices or habits yung maganda.
I'd say that on a daily basis, I would say that the first thing I would say is that be grateful of what you have every time you wake up in the morning. That's one of the best tips that I would be giving you to take care of your mental health, because that gives you a better perspective. So kahit gaano ka bad trip yung previous day, if you wake up grateful the next day, it would automatically set your mood. And of course, sabi nga ninyo, exercise is a really good mood lifter actually. But not just the mood, actually, it gives you a better outlook of yourself if you do that. So again, ulitin ko lang ha, hindi naman porke sinasabi namin dito, required yun na gawin. So, choice nyo naman. Oo. Choice naman yan. Siguro at the end of the day, the best thing that you also do is to also reflect on yourself. One thing that you have to do at the end of the day is to reflect on how you did well on all of the things that you did in the whole day. Reflect on it. How did you think that how did you think was the result of that to you and to the other people around you, and how are you going to be able to do better the next time? And always remember that if there's anyone that you think of parang competition, that should be yourself alone. So you yourself alone would be your competition. That's one. Those are one steps. One of the steps for you to be able to be more self-aware, for you to be able to learn the self-regulation na paborito namin ni Cha. Paborito namin ni Cha yun kasi it helps us. It helps us to really acknowledge our flaws. Siguro also, if you made a mistake, take the liberty of taking ownership of it. Kasi it gives you a better mindset kapag nag-take ownership ka ng mistake mo, hindi ka nag-deny, kasi parang majority of the time makikita mo naghahanap sila ng another thing to blame. And that gives you more stress rather than taking ownership of your mistake. If you take ownership of your mistake, you just realize that there's just parang di mo na kailangan maghanap ng rason. The next thing that you need to do is just to find ways to correct it and to be a better person the next time. Diba? Hindi naman kailangan na tayo na laging may sinisisi. Kailangan lang natin na tignan muna natin. Kasi lahat naman ng two-way naman ang lahat ng bagay. So, enable for you to have a better mental well-being at the mental state. You also have to acknowledge all all the things that you've done on a daily basis, and enable for you to really see how you're gonna be able to improve that. Yun naman yung sikreto doon. Oo. Siguro, ito kasi yung common na hindi alam ng mga tao na laging tanong to, nung nag-handle pa ako ng pasyente. Lagi nilang tanong, paano nyo natutulungan yung mga pasyente sa psych ward? Actually, hindi namin sila natutulungan kasi sarili nila yung tutulong sa kanila. Alam mo yun? Kaya maraming taong wala sa psych ward kasi tinutulungan nila yung sarili nila. Yung mga taong nasa psych ward, sila yung mga gumive up na sa sarili nila. They just, felt like they wanted to give up on themselves. And then, if you think that the best asset that you have is you yourself, and the best person that you only have at this point is yourself, then don't give up on yourself. Para naman, diba? Kasi wala naman talaga ibang makakatulong sa'yo apart from yourself. Kasi even if lugmok ka na, and you felt like no one is listening to you, you still have yourself listening to your internal thoughts. and enable for you to move forward and be a and to move forward, try to believe in yourself first. Kasi pag di ka naniwala sa sarili mo, walang ibang maniniwala sa'yo. So a great example, especially for all the younger ones that, idolizing, groups, P-pop groups, let's say for example, SBN. One of them, balik tayo dun sa recently lang na vlog ni Josh. If you're wondering paano ginawa ni Josh yun, kasi naniwala siya sa sarili niya. If you would see the whole vlog, it's because he trusts himself. He has more trust in himself and able for him to move forward. And I think also it explains also why he was able to reach where he is now. And the same thing with whoever is listening and felt na, baka hindi naman ako magaling. Again, hindi mo kailangan maging magaling. Kailangan maniwala sa sarili mo na kaya mo. Hindi ibig sabihin na magaling ka na. Kailangan mo lang maniwala, no? One step is believing in yourself. And susunod-sunod na yun. So yun nga, simple lang naman ang buhay, don't overcomplicate. Yun yung lagi kong motto. Huwag natin komplikaduhin, di ba?
Chill lang.
Kaya naman, chill lang.
Chill lang tayo mga lods.
Kaya naman nating kaya naman nating isolve sa sarili muna natin. Huwag ilabas yung emotions out there para hindi sumabog yung buong mundo. So yun muna. Tsaka natin, address mo muna baka naman, kaya naman internally, diba? So, yun. Siguro, I hope that would help. And kung may mga nagtataka man, bakit hindi ako very religious-centered. Kasi guys, marami tayong belief. Iba-iba yung belief ng mga tao. Hindi ko ipupush sa'yo na mag-pray ka. Even though I believe in prayer, I believe in the Creator. I wouldn't push you to do that simply because it might leave a better taste in your mouth or other people. But then again, I like to respect that everybody has their way of addressing it internally from them. And it's not necessarily that they cannot move on. Again, mga may religious man dyan, do not feel that I'm being attacked, that I'm attacking you. It's more of like I'm telling you that we have to really look into a perspective that not everybody find comfort in that area and they're more comfortable in dealing it with themselves. So I think that's the best way to say it. Kasi I heard Ate Abby earlier saying na yung ibang tao sinasabi mag-pray ka lang. Actually, hindi lahat nasa-solve nun internally, lalo na sa mga tao na hindi naman sila naniniwala eh. Mahirap kasi yun. Mahirap na i-push mo kasi may mga tao na kailangan ng pinanghahawakan. And if sa kanila, ang pinanghahawakan nila is yung sarili nila, then let them be. Let them be. And then, pag okay na sila, tsaka mo siguro sila introduce doon. Laging ganon. Laging unahin muna natin ng mental health well-being nila before anything else. Because, that's the most important thing. And also our mental health. So, when we say mental health, ulitin ko lang to close it off from my end. It's not just yourself, but also the people around you. And you have to be able to identify that it's a holistic approach to physical, emotional, psychological, and also mental well-being for everything that you have experienced. So yun, sana nakatulong yung mga pinagsasasabi ko dito. Doon sa mga nakikinig, pwede kayong, kung gusto nyo ng kakwentuhan lang, so we have this Twitter handle called Nasa Space 18. So nag-announce kami doon paminsan-minsan every week ng weekly live discussion between some of the co-hosts, and we discuss mental health. So yun. So last time, ang discussion namin is tungkol sa mga panaginip. Bakit ka nga ba nanaginip ng mga bagay-bagay? So yun. I-release namin yung second episode siguro. Baka this week. So yun. Kung hindi kayo naka-attend last Friday, meron this week. So, ayun. Sabihan namin next time, si Ate Abby umaattend ng session namin. Oo. So yan, medyo, kung may mga panaginip kayo na gusto nyong malaman bakit nyo napapanaginipan at bakit sa window to your mental health, listen to our podcast. Yeah. So yan. Sorry, nag-promote po ako.
Allow nyo sila sa Twitter. Ano yun? Nasa Space 18. Oo. Kasi naka-follow din ako dun eh. And yun yan, sabi ko use these platforms, to really arm yourself with the things that you need to know. Kasi hindi mo din alam, right now, you're not going through anything, you're okay, pero eventually, diba, after a few weeks, a few months, you go through something, yung pandemic, it's really tough. Like I've felt it firsthand. People that I know go through difficulty because of the pandemic. People who they love their job so much, but then suddenly nawalan sila ng gana, nag-resign, ayaw na nila. Alam mo yun, yung parang tas ramdam na ramdam mo yung meron akong mga nakakausap na umiiyak sila sa akin kasi parang nagsastruggle sila dahil yung family nila na nagkaroon ng problem financially dahil nawalan ng trabaho yung tatay, yung nanay, ganyan. So, this last year, this year is tough. And most likely, in the future, the next couple more years, until such time na na-manage na talaga natin effectively yung pandemic na ito, things will still be tough. So, be kind to yourself and arm yourself with things that would help you. Hindi namin masishare lahat. Ang dami pang, ako personally, ang dami ko pa sanang gustong i-share. Pero, siguro, let's end this podcast for now. Pero join the Twitter spaces of Z and Cha and the others. Kasi, yun talagang you can ask questions, you can consult, and then people will share their own experiences, and hopefully we can, you definitely can learn. Para siyang hindi siya yung parang meron lang lecture or something like that. It's more of a social learning platform. So ang ganda din nung Twitter spaces siya. So if you're active on Twitter, pwede ka namang mag-multitask. Makinig sa spaces, sumali sa spaces while you're tweeting. So yun, okay lang yun. And then yun, makikita niyo dun si Z and si Cha. And then hopefully makita din natin dun yung iba like si Vina and si Doc Pearl. Ako, nandun din ako, nakikinig lang din ako doon. So, yun, join kayo kapag may time. And also when you see, if you have time naman, di ba, makikita kayo sa Twitter, ganyan, ng platforms na, helping, educating other people about mental health. Join! Kasi libre naman sila. Ang dami mga webinar, mga wellness talks, ganyan. Just attend. Educate yourself. Kasi you may not go through these issues, pero pwedeng yung kaibigan nyo, di ba, kapamilya nyo, di ba? How can you help them if, for example, you can, you're not armed or you're not aware? So let's change the stigma around mental health. Let's acknowledge that mental health is one of the most important things na kailangan nating alagaan at this point in time. Find your community. So, yon, join YBA. Recruitan natin si Vina at si Z. And join a community. Any community at all. And then Z saying na meron tayong free briefing, psychological briefing. You want to talk about that, Z?
Yeah, for those that wants to have, someone who would be able to talk to, there is this thing called free psychological briefing by Ateneo Bulatao Center. So, you can directly just go to their Facebook and then just, get the number from there. So ito yung isa sa mga platform nila to help people, struggling with mental health. So, yun. So, the reason why I'm promoting this, I'm not from Ateneo, but I have been helping a lot of parang platforms to promote. Kasi I really want to promote I'm a mental advocate, yun nga, mental health advocate. So kaya ang sabi ko so let's pave the way for mental health and make people more aware of themselves and help them deal with their struggles. Kasi madami tayong mga individuals na nahihirapan mag-express ng sarili nila. They cannot talk to anyone, and I think siguro ate Abby, the reason why I also want to be more parang stealth to who I am is because I want people to be more comfortable in sharing to me then. Kaya siguro si Cha lang nakakilala sa akin sa pangalan ko talaga and everything, but because I want people to be more open when they're talking to me. So I think that helps also when you're talking to strangers. So yun nga guys, if you want to talk to a lot of people, go to Ateneo website and then just check for the free psychological briefing. So ayun.
Yun, diba? Life hack ngayong pandemic. kung babad kayo sa social media, most likely kasi nakikinig kayo ng podcast, hanap lang kayo, maraming means para makahanap ng tulong or support. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to a stranger, nandito lang din yung mga ate, yung mga tita, yung mga momshi na pwede niyong lapitan at kausapin. So ako personally, alam siguro naman nung ibang mga kilala ko na I'm very open. Okay. So, minsan para lang akong ewan, pero pag seryosong usapan naman, nagiging seryoso naman tayo. And always willing to help. Yan. So, and then, if you want to join this movement, if you want to extend your help, if you're a professional, like a counselor or a therapist or psychological, someone who is also a mental health advocate, if you want to extend your services or your support, however you want to do it, please reach out to Project Eunoia. And then let's create a community centered around mental health, di ba? Na para kung talaga may kailangan ng targeted na tulong, tulungan natin yung isa't isa. Kasi alam ko yung iba, most likely baka nahihiya lang or hindi nila alam kung paano, may mga tanong sila bago sila to make that first step to look for a professional, kailangan nila ng konting push. Pusher naman tayo, so i-push natin yan. So, yun lang. So, I'm not gonna add any more dun sa sinabi ni Z kasi I think she was able to sum up everything that we were able to talk about today. I want to thank Cha, Vina, and Pearl for being with us, for sharing their insights and their experiences. And to Z as well, salamat sa tulong mo at pagpapa-unlock mo sa pagsama sa amin sa podcast na ito. Project Eunoia.
My pleasure, ate. My pleasure.
Ayun. So sana meron ulit tayong next time naman meron ulit tayong episode about mental health. And malay mo, kasi after we post this or we publish this, baka meron pa mga questions na lumabas or mga suggestions, diba? Tingnan
like
natin.
Topic of self-compassion, ganyan.
Pwede. Sige. Maganda yan. Actually, yeah, I'm planning another podcast about self-forgiveness. And I think we can expand it to something related to parang more than forgiveness but self-compassion. So I'm gonna look into that. Thank you for that, Vina. Ayun. And ayun, any last words? Meron ba kayong mga huling pasabi at advice? Quotable quotes?
Ako, feeling ko yung masasabi ko lang, yung take a break. Hindi, kasi, take a break. Kasi hindi mo pwede lagi kang sugod sa mga bagay-bagay. Ayun, kailangan minsan malaman mo din kung kailan ka magpapahinga. Hindi naman ibig sabihin nagpahinga. Sabi nga ni Pablo, hindi naman ibig sabihin na nagpahinga or huminto ka, ayaw ka na. Kailangan mo lang talagang magpahinga, mag-isip, ayan, para mas ma-plan mo kung ano yung mga next step mo.
For people who are experiencing something and who want to also be of help to others, sometimes kasi may mga ganun tao. Like for example, ako, parang feeling ko hindi naman ako ready, pero gusto ko pa rin mag-reach out sa ibang tao. Minsan kasi hindi naman nila kailangan ng quotable quotes or hindi naman nila kailangan ng mga tao, ng mga parang witty na mga advice. Sometimes kailangan lang nila ng taong makikinig sa'yo, makikinig sa kanila, yung tao na hindi sila i-judge. And if you're that kind of person, kahit feeling mo hindi ka ready, feeling ko you can still do something. So if you can, just extend your help to others. Just extend a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on if you can. If you know you can handle it on that particular day. So, yeah. Yun lang. You can always do something kahit hindi ka nandun sa best mo.
Siguro cliche, pero it's really okay to not be okay. It's okay to take a rest, to take a break, and have a Kit Kat. Okay lang, magpahinga. Pag di mo na kaya, pwede magpahinga. And if you need help, it's really okay to say I need help. We are, no man is an island. We are social beings, and it's okay to call for help. It's okay to tell people that you're not okay. I think lang din, siguro, find your tribe, find uh, find find a group or siguro support system na hindi ka i-judge, are willing to help you out. So I just like what I've found, and I know not everyone believes in God, but I'd still say this: um, prayer is still a very, very powerful weapon. So, for me lang ha, hindi ko kayo pinupush, kahit pusher ako. But, if it helps, if praying helps, then go. And if ever other means, you can also do other means. If painting helps, or dancing, or any artistic outlet helps, then go. By all means, go. So, yun lang po. Laban! Japan!
Yes, laban. Serious na eh, biglang may Japan. Ayan. Sisi, ikaw, meron ka pa bang
So ako, for me, yun nga, alam niyo naman lahat ng sinabi ko kanina, pero siguro lang din, just be real to yourself. Huwag mong lolokohin yung sarili mo. Yun lang. Because that's one way for you to get to know yourself and to understand yourself more, and that would lead you to become more aware of what's going on with the things around you. So, maging totoo ka lang. So, yun. Pag naging totoo ka sa sarili mo, malalaman mo yung weakness mo, hindi mo i-deny yun. So, basta guys, lang yan eh. Kung ano man yung natutunan mo sa sarili mo, it's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's really up to you how you're going to work around with it. And that would have a big impact on how your mental well-being is at the end of the day. So, yun. Kaya, ulitin ko lang, pakahaba ng sinabi ko, no? Just be yourself. Do not lie to yourself. Yun lang. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cha, Vina, Doc Pearl, and Z. Salamat sa insights nyo, sa tips ninyo, and for sharing your experiences. And to everyone, sana pakinggan nyo tong episode and share nyo din sa mga tao na sa palagay nyo matutulungan ng episode natin. Always remember, your mental health is really important and you should take care of it. This is Abby, and thank you for listening to this episode of Project Eunoia. Bye!